Guys, we are going to be working on our pet portraits today. So far here I have my printed paper and you can see my cat Thea. And the first thing that we're going to do when we're working on this is we are going to be outlining the main structures and features of our pet. Okay, so that's going to be like the bone structure, that's going to be any changes in color of their fur, or any like light or dark areas. And we're going to do this with our pencil. Now I have an example of an overlay to show you kind of what it looks like, but I'm going to show you on here. So I have this is my example so far. Okay, so you can see on the red lines here, this is what this is what this will look like. Okay, so you guys can see the simple outlines to get those main features. So I have her facial features here, right? I've got the outline of her head, I've got her little chin, her little, I don't know, cheeks, with her whiskers, right? And then you can see kind of part of her body in this, so I went ahead and included that. Okay, most of yours will probably kind of go off page, okay? But you're gonna go through and kind of just get this basic outline here. I'm gonna do that directly on my paper here, and I'm gonna go in with my pencil first. Okay, so I'm basically just taking this and I am outlining along here. So you can kind of see it. It's not as easy to see. That's why I wanted to show you that overlay. But I'm going through and outlining like her ears, her forehead, all the way around to kind of simplify it. We're just getting those basic shapes in there. You do want to make sure that you're paying close attention to the eyes. That's really, really important in a portrait, especially on animals. So I'm just kind of going through. I'm going to bring this up a little bit because that shadow there is a little bit confusing. So I'm going to kind of angle this in this way. And then let's see. So like for her nose, I'm just tracing along here. Okay, I'm going to get her little mouth. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this and I'll be right back. Okay, so you can see that I've outlined her all in pencil here. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my specific paper that I'm using for this, and I'm going to line this up over this, and I'm going to go over to the light table so that I can see my lines that I drew already through my paper, and I'm going to go ahead and trace this onto this paper. Okay, so I'm going to do that real quick and I will be right back. Okay, so after I have gone to the light box and traced over her, I'm going to double check and make sure and compare my photo with my drawing here and see if there's anything that I needed to add. Okay, so I think this looks pretty good. Looks like I have everything on there. I didn't miss any lines. I think so. I think I'm pretty good here. Okay, so after you have that taken care of, you are going to set your picture aside. And we're going to start working with our Sharpies. So you want to make sure, of course, that you're using a Sharpie because it's permanent. It won't blur whenever we add paint to this later. And we have two sizes on our supply list. And so that means that we have two options to work with. We're going to do a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I'm going to start off with my ultra fine. That's the really pointy one. And I'm going to go through and work on some of these lighter or smaller areas here. So around her eyes, I'm going to go ahead and start outlining. Okay, just like so. Okay, so I'm going to finish doing some of this lining and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have a lot of her outline, but I'm going to go ahead and around this area here, I want to be kind of careful and I want to add in a little bit more texture. So you can see I have a little bit here, but I think I'm going to do just a touch more because if you look at her side right here, it's a little bit fuzzier, and same thing kind of along here. And so I think I'm going to look at this and mimic what I'm seeing. So for example, on this side right here, the hair lines look like they're kind of going sideways. So I'm going to bring this up here and I'm going to kind of add in a little bit of this texture here. Kind of this way like that. And a little bit here. So it's just a little bit etchier. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of carry on the same thing back here, and I'm looking at what it looks like in my picture. Now, if the hair texture was going like up and down, then I would make sure I did that, kind of like how I did up here on our little forehead. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the direction. You don't want to have it looking like a crazy hair day for your pet. Okay, and so I'm just kind of blurring this, making this a little bit more organic over here. Okay, and same thing here. Okay, and I'm going to add a little bit more here, so it kind of angles in a little bit more around here. That way. There we go. I think it looks a little bit better. Okay, so because she's got, for my cat, because she's gray and white, so it's those lines are a little bit more obvious in some places. So I've got this here. I think I'm going to add a little bit more detail to the ears really quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I changed my mind on the ear thing, but I am back with my regular size Sharpie. I'm going to look at some of the lines I have going on my original picture here and look at some of those areas where it's a little bit darker, where I might need a little bit of a wider outline. So I'm going to focus in on some of these areas like right here. I'm not going to focus on these little delicate areas that I have here. I'm going to leave those kind of nice and soft, but I'm going to go over. So I have on my cat's eyes, I'm going to go ahead and just color in her pupils here, like so. Then I'm going to go through and I'm going to kind of darken the line, or thicken the line rather. I guess it's a little bit of both, huh? Over here on this side. So you guys can see how this is a little bit darker. So this kind of gives us, we're using the weight of the line. That means the thickness of the line. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of that here. Okay, I'm also going to do back here as well. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna get a little bit on this side here. Okay, and I'm gonna do a little bit more of this lining. I'll be right back. So I ended up focusing most of my outlining to literally the outer lines. Okay, and I have a couple spots where it looks a little bit weird, but I don't want to go in with my thicker markers. So I'm taking my ultra fine Sharpie and I'm just very, very, very softly kind of going through and thickening some areas or kind of doing a smoother transition. So like right here, so it doesn't look like it just stops from the thicker line to the thinner line. I'm just kind of carefully making it kind of slowly taper down. Okay, and I can do the same thing over here. Like that. Okay, let's see, any other spots? I'm gonna round this out a little bit more. Just make it a bit smoother. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put my markers away. I'm gonna take my pencil eraser and erase all of my little lines here. And we will be back in the next video talking about how to add our paint. So see you in the next one.